This is a campaign about tearing up the rule book, about how we plan television, about how we buy television, what television even looks like in the break, and that's what makes it really exciting.
Really, we needed to do something quite different in order to cut through.
Oh, you lot think it big.
We're blurring the boundary somewhat between programming and advertising.
The thing about one every minute is once it started, you cannot turn it off.
The scale was incredible. I mean, it really was unprecedented.
He's going to go into the toilet and tell himself he's the greatest, come back out and shut it down. So, yeah, he'll be good.
This is a new way of working, especially for McDonald's.
Made to cry on. Made to cry on. Made to cry on.
The coffee category is quite a hotly contested industry, and there are really three main players. So it was identified as a growth opportunity quite early on for us. So thinking about how we got involved within the category with the three main players, how could we really carve out our place within the coffee industry? And that was really our main challenge. McDonald's is much better known for its burgers than it is for its coffee, of course. So when we came into the UK market, we entered as number 4 within the marketplace, which is very unique for McDonald's. We're used to being kind of the head of our field in most categories that we contend within. So we were really a challenger brand. So we built a foundational brand awareness, so using linear TV and secondary channels, which was successful to a degree. And kind of gave us that initial launch into the category, which was great. But really we needed to do something quite different in order to cut through. We base all our information quite heavily on consumer insight at McDonald's. So it's so important that you understand the customer. And we unlocked what we think was a cultural truth, which is when somebody says to you, let's go for a coffee, what they really mean is, let's go for a chat. We wanted to mirror that in our advertising, which is where McCafe Moments came in.
I think TV needed to be at the heart of this campaign because we wanted something that would really change perceptions of McCafe. So when we looked at all of the TV options, we looked at spot campaigns, we looked at sponsorships, and spot campaign was quite limiting because we didn't want something that was going to be big budget, we wanted something that was going to be quite agile and we could work with a media owner over the course of the year. And sponsorship wasn't right because we wanted to be more flexible in what we said about the brand. And then sort of almost somewhere in between this idea of contextual, which was quite new a couple of years ago when we were working on this campaign. Contextual seemed to fit right. So we needed to cut through and we needed to do that on a channel that would have real resonance.
And we selected Channel 4. I mean, the main reasons for that were the portfolio of different programming that they had at that particular time. And Channel 4 is really at its peak in terms of producing some really talkable TV. So some fantastic elements in terms of which we would like to feature. And also it was exactly right for our target audience in terms of who we wanted to attract for coffee.
So we took the key insight that when you go for a coffee, you go for a conversation. And we knew that also our Channel 4 viewers love to talk about our programming. So we really and truly just put the two together and thought, why don't we go out there and find real people, and by that I mean real families and real friends, and filming them enjoying them at McCafe and talking about Channel 4 programming the viewer had literally just seen in the ad break. We then turned to the outfit, who are our creative partners, to develop our idea.
Clearly there's a lot of rigour and structure behind the scenes. It's a mix of casting people who knew the programmes and loved the programmes really well, so in a sense they're ready to go right from the start. And us, with our list of as many questions as we can possibly think that relate to the show, that give them as many prompts as possible to get the conversation going.
School was a lot of fun, but the most exciting thing was seeing other people get into trouble.
Oh, the worst ones was like when you're talking in class or something and then the teacher just gets a chalk and then writes your name on the board and you're like, sir, what's that for? 10 minutes.
Part of the campaign architecture was understanding which shows were going to be on at which points during the whole year. So we needed a real 12-month view of the calendar.
From an agency sales perspective, it was making sure the spot teams understood the importance of booking these spots exactly where they had to be, first in break, in the right break, and the right date, which normally isn't quite such a burning issue, but with this, it just wouldn't work without that happening.
And then we put into place what we had a tiering system. And tier C, which was where the majority of the activity was, where we placed our contributors talking about the kind of subjects that were involved. So talking about love, talking about moving house, and we could place these quite easily next to shows that we knew were going to be in the schedule. Real perennials of the Channel 4 schedule, like the Location and First Dates. And then we took this up one step further, and we got licenses to talk about shows and using their actual name. So these are Tier B. And we had people talking about Made in Chelsea, about characters on certain shows, which meant that we could place them and really have a resonance next to the show that we're in.
The scale was incredible. I mean, it really was unprecedented. We had 14 different licenses with our programme makers we had to negotiate, covering 90 different bits of copy over what will be a 2-year partnership, which is absolutely incredible.
The really interesting elements of it is when Channel 4 share with us in advance some of the programming, so specific clips, which we then share with the contributors for that truly contextual piece. These are what we call our Tier A water cooler moments. So for example, within The Island, we had the moment where the snake jumped out of the tree, and then we cut straight to the mums so they can discuss immediately after the programming.
Come on! I mean, the snake thing.
Snakes can be really quick and really frightening, and it came really close to her. Also, if you knew you're in an environment like that where there's all sorts of stuff on the floor, get off the ground, girls. Make your bed high.
That snake was in a tree.
Oh, yeah.
People on Twitter were like, I can't believe, have I just seen someone talking about a show that's just been on and they're on television? Which was really lovely, and that really did get some social traction. So my absolute favourite piece of creative, and sadly made me cry on a number of occasions when I watched it, is our lovely Welsh tree surgeons.
Guys, watching that When Born Every Minute.
Oh, yeah.
You seen it?
Yeah, I like it. That's the amazing people that are involved. They're real superheroes, aren't they?
What was Martha's birth like?
When I held her in my arms.
Come on, we understand.
God, it was wrong with me.
No.
Right, when I held her in my arms, that's the greatest gift you could ever have.
And when you know that's real, there's absolutely nothing staged about that. It's just a camera on the van while they're driving around, and he's so choked up about that moment. And that's what really makes this heartwarming. And I think a lot of the audience responded so well to that, and still makes me cry when I think about it. It's a brilliant piece of TV.
We really went out to find primarily people that we thought people would fall in love with, and people the audience would really bond with and identify with. And also just ultimately, this is just really about being entertaining. We wanted to be as entertaining as possible. We knew that by being entertaining, we'd cut through as best we possibly could, and that would ultimately be the thing that really drove the campaign forward.
Would you actually marry someone on the first date having never met them before? I'm game. To be fair, Hayley, you could give it a go. What have you got to lose? Absolutely nothing.
So to make the contextual pieces really work hard, Channel 4 agreed to drop their promotional activity that they normally run coming out of a show, and we had our adverts literally butting up as close as you can get to the shows that they were referencing, which made the whole campaign work even harder.
Excuse me one minute.
Yeah. No, don't